to uncover a cache of even more guns and ammunition along the Chesapeake and Ohio Canal near the boathouse at Fletcher's Cove in Northwest D.C. So, lady's walking by, sees this violin case and this garbage bag thing, thinks it's kind of weird. She looks under the violin case, and there's a couple weapons and I think some ammunition. Naturally, she reports it to the police. They come by, start searching all up and down the whole area, find some more weapons caches, more ammunition, etc. Nobody knows what it's for, not sure why it's here, and naturally you would say, we know darn well why it's there. If Trump's inauguration is just a mere few days away from this event taking place, and it just happened very, very recently, as in the first week of January, by the way, and his inauguration is on the 20th, maybe they put weapons out there for people to get a hold of early. Again, some of these immigrants possibly coming from the Middle East and North Africa. What are we finding in Germany and in some other countries, even Greece? Weapons caches coming in for use with these so-called immigrants that just so happen to be sneaking in, some of them, not all of them, sneaking in as ISIS members. Even I remember some of them being shown, oh, this is an ISIS guy, when they first opened the floodgates over there. And they, oh, look who it is. This guy's a known ISIS dude, or, terrorist dude, whatever. And here he is crossing there's this picture. Oh, interesting. But they were finding weapons caches all over the place. So here we have one in America. When's the last time, I want you to think about this, when's the last time you ever heard of a weapons cache and then being found and then numerous other ones nearby? Period. In America. Then, if by chance you have, I heard actually one in Chicago the other day. Okay. If you happen to, which you didn't, but if you did, understand that this one is in Washington, D.C. The place where Donald Trump's going to go get his inauguration done. Okay, so that is highly suspicious. And then the other story, D.C. National Guard chief is fired, again, just a few days before Trump's inauguration. What do you think about the timing of this? Pure coincidence? Obama just trying to, clean out, I got to clean this little closet out a little bit before I leave. He doesn't have to do anything. Just sit back, enjoy your last 2 weeks, and let us get on with making America great again. No, I'm going to fire a top-level National Guard leader. Quote, it doesn't make sense to can the general in the middle of an active deployment, says D.C. Council Chairman Phil Mandelson, after Major General Errol R. Schwartz, who heads the D.C. National Guard and is an integral part of overseeing the inauguration, has been ordered removed from command, effective January 20th, 2001 p.m. Huh. Just as Donald Trump is sworn in as president. So they're saying it now, and at least as of January 13th, but it's not effective until 1 minute after he's sworn in. Does that even make any kind of sense? Wouldn't you get rid of him now? Find his replacement now? What is this like? What does this mean? Why is Barack doing this? And the Washington Post says Major General Errol R. Schwartz's departure will come in the midst of the presidential ceremony, classified as a national special security event, and while thousands of his troops are deployed to help protect the nation's capital during inauguration, he has spent months helping to plan. The timing is extremely unusual, Schwartz said in an interview on Friday morning, confirming a memo announcing his ouster that was obtained by the Washington Post. During the inauguration, Schwartz would command not only the members of the D.C. Guard, but also an additional 5,000 unarmed troops sent in from across the country to help. Oh, hold on. Excuse me. I'm not sure if I just read that right. Not only command the members of the D.C. Guard, but also an additional 5,000 unarmed troops sending them from across the country to help. What do 5,000 unarmed troops do to, quote unquote, keep the area safe or provide security? How does one provide security at a special event when a new president is taking office? Shouldn't they be armed? Or maybe at the very least have arms very close by wherever they're going to be, by chance, maybe? I don't know. Just something thinking out loud here. This makes kind of, sort of, no sense. I'm trying to think of what happened here in Florida. This was a number of years back. Maybe the president was coming to town. I'm trying to think of what it was. Maybe was he coming to that town for some reason? No, you know what? It may have been in 2008, or no, maybe it was 2012. It was probably 2012, when they were all campaigning. You know, Barack was campaigning, Hillary was campaigning, and I remember seeing a National Guard vehicle with 2 National Guard men standing guard in front of the vehicle. And it was at a hotel, and they were armed guards. They were armed in the parking lot, standing in front of that truck, which I can only assume had more arms or something like that in there. So, are you telling me that that's okay, but for the president who's about to, swear an oath and take office, which is even more important, these people are just campaigning, these guys get to come unarmed? Okay. Interesting, but whatever. He will also oversee military air support protecting the nation's capital during the inauguration. Quote, my troops will be on the street. Said, I'll see them off, but I won't be able to welcome them back to the armory. He said that he would never plan to leave a mission in the middle of a battle. Well, leave it up to Barack. Leave it up to Barack. Switch the quarterback out after he throws the ball. Don't even, if that was even allowed, before the play's even over. Okay. Swartz said that he has not been told why he was asked to step down. He says, I'm a soldier, he said, noting that he was following orders and has no regrets. I'm a presidential appointee. Therefore, the president has the power to remove me. Is this just another part of Obama's smooth transition, or is something even more sinister at work here, since we already know that anti-Trump activists are planning the biggest protest in history on the day of the inauguration, says Zero Hedge. Now, interestingly, I sent myself a note, calendar reminder, that simply says on January 21st, 5 p.m., Saturday, if not, so my subject was, did 100,000 show up to protest Trump's inauguration? If not, Webbots write again. And I didn't copy and paste which part of the Webbot maybe specifically talked about this, unless I'm just thinking of the fact that it said Trump's going to be the president. Hillary's going to try to get, they're going to try one last grasp at power. It's not going to work. It's going to be a little tiny footnote in the pages of history. It's nothing, which we did see. But that was end of November and December. Now we're in January. Again, they tried the Electoral College nonsense. Didn't happen. They tried it again on the 6th. In Congress, Democrats, do you have a senator's signature to protest or object to this? No, I don't. It's over. Have a nice day. They tried that 6 or 7 times alone in that one event or session. And now they're saying, which I sent myself an article from Cron.com, women's biggest march on Washington is poised to be the biggest anti-Trump demonstration by Perry Stein and Sandhya Somashikar from the Washington Post, it says, even though it's a different website. And so I read it, whatever, and they're saying, right now, actually, turn that down. Make sure this is off because I hear a stupid commercial playing. All right. More than 150,000 women and men have responded on the march's Facebook page that they're planning on attending. I want you to remember something. We were told by the defector, remember the Trump defector, the Electoral College guy? I think it was the guy from Texas. And he said, we have 15 other people that's willing to do this too. We just need another 15 and we'll be good to go. So how many did flip-flop? 2. Him and somebody else flip-flop, 2 people. But they told you it would be 15. We've got 15. What do we call that? Exactly what Trump called to CNN dude's face. Fake news. No, you don't get to ask me a question. You're fake news. Go ahead. That might be one of the most epic things I've ever seen from any kind of political speech, shenanigans, interruptions, whatever. You're fake. You don't get a chance. You're fake news. Basically, shut up and sit down. Go ahead. I was waiting for Trump to tell him because he kept interrupting over and over and over. Talk about being disrespectful. I was waiting for him to say, listen, if you don't shut your mouth, I'm going to have you removed. Okay? Next, go ahead. I was waiting for that one. Thank God the guy finally shut up and he continued. But this article, 150,000 men and women have responded. We're going to be there. So I decided, so I don't forget this, January 21st, Saturday, hey, Jason up for you. This is your conscience speaking. Did 100,000+ show up? Now it says 150,000. Did 150,000 people show up and protest? Now, if we turn on the mainstream news, they may say that, oh yeah, 150,000. Because when I turned on the mainstream news here, local, when I went down to Hillary's campaign thing over here, downtown Tampa. I said, I want to see for myself, are there really tons of supporters or are there not? Because everything else I'm seeing right now, everywhere she goes, barely anybody's showing up. And let me tell you, there's quite a few Tampa supporters for this woman. But nonetheless, Trump just a couple days before, or maybe it was a day before, whatever, just right around that time frame, had, what was it? Something like 20,000 or 30,000 people inside the stadium he was at, and then another like 10,000 or something like that was trying to get in, couldn't because it was filled to capacity, so they were outside trying, to support him as best they could outside. So anyways, the number was like 37,000. So I went there with my camera, my video is still available, and walked the back of the line all the way up to the front of the venue. I was there quite early to make sure I didn't miss anything. Stood around, videotaped a little bit on the way out, videotaped it on the way back, and said to myself, if I can find somebody who was at the very end of the line when I got here, who is now at the front of the line when I'm leaving, and then I'm going to count everybody in the line on the way out, I can give a pretty rough estimate, pretty decent estimate, as to how many people were at this venue. How many people got in line and got through. That's what I could actually be able to tell. And I was being quite generous as I was adding people when I got home because I slowed down the video. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Just pause it, play it, pause it, play it. And I said it then, I'll say now. Being absolutely, unbelievably, extremely generous and adding tons more people, I counted 4,000. Mind you, 10,000 plus were waiting outside Trump's venue to get in, with 20-something thousand already in.